Hi, I'm Nikki Dor. Happy New Year. Thought I would do my first proper video of the year, where it's actually got my face in. Um, I pulled some cards for inspiration this week, which I usually put on Instagram, don't always put onto the page, but I thought I would share them here because they all seem very pertinent to the full moon that's happening on Thursday. Now, I have creativity, spontaneity, I don't know if you can see that, and faith. Now, thinking about what's happening in the skies as a kind of reflection of these cards as well, how it ties in, we've got Jupiter opposite Uranus. And an opposition is a bit like a tug of war. Tug of war. I want this, no, you want that. And, it becomes this kind of push me, pull me energy. But when they find the compromise, it can be a very powerful energy. Now, Jupiter is seen as the greater benefic, so it's seen as a very positive planet. It's the planet of expansion. It can be the planet of kind of opportunities, but usually you need to take risks to get those opportunities. They're not always just given to you on a plate. Uranus is the kind of planet of freedom or wanting freedom. And also it's seen as the great awakener. So, a lightning bolt from Uranus could mean that you wake up with this great epiphany and you suddenly understand all these things you didn't before. You have a great idea. So now we have a full moon, which is happening Thursday, which is creating a cross, a grand cross. So there's a lot of energy in that. And it sounds quite scary, but put it really simply, with astrology, you can always work out what might happen by going back to the past. Now, this, you don't have to look that much back in the past because we've been having full moons every month at around 22, 23 degrees. So the 22-degree full moon started in November with a Taurus Scorpio full moon, happened in December with Gemini Sagittarius, and it's happening this Thursday with Cancer Capricorn. Now, if you go back to a month previous to that, October, you'll find that it was at 23 Aries Libra. So currently Jupiter and Uranus are hanging around 21 degrees. So, give or take a degree, that area of wherever your chart is quite hot right now. So if you want to know what's going to happen, then all you need to do is really look back. So if you look back on, let me give you the exact dates whilst I pull up my calendar here. So let me pull up the right one. Okay, so the 16th of October was the Aries Libra. So what happened to you on the 16th, around the 16th? What happened to you around the 14th of November? What happened to you around let's have a look at December's, the 14th of December? That's going to give you an inkling as to what's going to happen. And this is through to March as well. But you will find it quite, if you were hit very heavily, good or bad, on the 16th of October, you're going to find this one has a repeating theme. So transits always ask you a question. Transits, new full moons, always ask you something. And usually anything that hits that degree in any part of your chart is going to activate that same area. So it's going to ask you similar but different questions, and that depends on the aspects, because it could be something that feels very easy, or it can be something that feels quite hard. But I'm not going to go into too much depth. Just say, if you want to know what's likely to happen, or what this Uranus Jupiter opposition is about that everyone's raving about, then go back and look on the 16th of October, the 14th of November, 14th of December, and the 12th, and it's coming up on the 12th. It's really good to keep a journal, because it makes trying to work out what's going to happen, prediction, very easy. So go back to your journal, find out what happened, think about the dreams, think about the emotions, think about the feelings, think about the opportunities, because Jupiter is all about opportunities. And with Uranus, it can be very sudden. So it can be sudden recognition, it can be a sudden opportunity, or it can be a sudden bid for freedom. You know, new and full moons are about relationship because they are to do with this synodic cycle of the sun and the moon. So often this can be focused on relationships. And usually with Uranus involved, it can be both surprising in a good way and a not so good way. But I'm going to always try and look at the positivity. So if you look at spontaneity being Jupiter, and on one hand, and you look at what was the other one? No, faith. If you look at faith as being Jupiter, because obviously he also rules faith and belief, because it's a natural ruler of the ninth house, and spontaneity as Uranus, a word to describe Uranus, then really you need both of those. For spontaneity, you need faith because spontaneity requires you to take a risk, and usually for that you need faith. And most people will take a risk if they believe something can come out of it. No one usually goes, oh, well, I'll take a risk. It probably, it's never going to happen. But usually someone has some element of optimism about it. So they think, well, if I take this risk, something big could happen. And that's a very Jupiter thing. So I wish all of you a very happy start to 2017. I hope that this brings you a good opportunity. But opportunities with Jupiter, you need to take it. A lot of people get so excited about Jupiter in their chart and then they go, nothing happens. Just think about, you have to get any of those goodies that Jupiter might give you, you are going to have to take a risk. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone. And with this opposition, and full moons also about opposition, our oppositions, it is very much about perhaps seeing the other person's point of view and coming to a compromise. Full moons are about culminations, seeing things that perhaps you haven't seen before. That's why it's about illumination, because it's when the moon is brightest. So think about all those themes. Try and use the energy in a really positive way, because if you take the time to look at what's out there, you could come out and find something brand new. You could take unexpected inspiration. That's another phrase I would use for the opposition. Or just a massive epiphany. It doesn't actually have to be something physical, but sometimes when you just know something and your faith is restored, or you just have that sudden moment of clarity. So I wish you a really good and happy full moon.